painful for the 3rd District. There's no question about that. And it's not just Republicans that have felt that pain. Along with economic issues, now we face a district that is without a congressman. And today I'm here to show you why I've got unique skills that I've had from all the way when I was younger to now that are going to make me the best man for that job. Several years ago, I had a great situation. I returned home to family and to the places I love because I wanted to consider serving in Congress longer term, and we didn't know when the longer term would be. Last week, after a lot of counsel and a lot of prayers, it became very obvious to my family, the counsel that I had received, that this was the best time for us to enter this race. We're now facing many challenges in Northeast Indiana, including a growing lack of trust in some leaders, and I'm standing here today because I believe I have the absolute faith to restore some of that trust. I studied political science in college. I was actually appointed as well by the Jacksonville's mayor in Florida to serve on their council, which I did faithfully for 2 years before returning home. Along with being in the public eye for nearly 2 decades as a television maker, I've also been in the front lines of many federal issues, from Social Security to health care to benefits as well for veterans. I take pride that many in this community have turned to me when they feel the system is broken down. And too many times the system does break down. We've seen that a lot. An Angola woman came to me because she had red tape. She was waiting patiently for disability benefits and could not pay her rent. She waited over 3 years for these benefits. She came to me out of a stack of hundreds of emails, and after a 4-week process calling many government agencies, she finally got that check. There was also a woman that was involved as well with her husband died, a Vietnam veteran, and was waiting for disability benefits from the VA. She waited patiently for those benefits as well, over 4 years waiting for those benefits. And then finally she said she came to me after going to elected officials, and her comment was because she heard that I got things done. Those are things that have motivated me to continue to do those things. Those are also issues I think a congressional candidate and a congressman in Washington has got to deal with, because many times that is the only person between them and what is a lot of red tape in Washington. I know this district very well, the defense contractors, to relationships with GM and manufacturing companies as well. I also know many relationships with business owners and decision makers, and I've been in Washington many times, including with the Chamber of Commerce, meeting with state and Senate and House leaders as well, finding out why it's so important for us to have a voice in Washington, one that knows federal dollars have to come back to the community, whether it's through a grant program or working on our roads, how important it is to lobby for their money at this point. In Washington, I intend to surround myself with an experienced staff, one that knows how to get things done in Washington. We have got to hit the ground running here. I've had a number of discussions with staff members over the past week that I know in Washington. We've got some long-term relationships that have not been talked about much through this week-long process with the Fort Wayne VA Hospital, with the Air National Guard, that are very important relationships that have to be maintained. I will continue to fight to keep the VA Hospital open. I have organizations and people that I know that can make that happen easier than some candidates. Our base is key to thousands of jobs as well from our defense cluster and our very proud defense companies that are in this city. We cannot afford to lose more jobs. We have many struggling people out there as well, and that will be a key focus of mine, using not only my passion for business, but also my contacts in the business community. We also cannot continue to raise the tax burden on small businesses. We've heard that a lot, and we've got to get government out of overspending. That is a message we continue to hear. Our national debt is not only jeopardizing our future as a country, but I look at all the kids in here as well, and I think that's why so many in this room are involved and excited about the process, because they have futures as well. Firmly against cap and trade is an indirect tax which is going to hurt us in the Midwest more than any part of the country with our manufacturing and also our utilities. They're going to be required to buy emissions credits. Not only is it going to make it harder to compete, I've talked to many business leaders, it is going to cost us jobs that we cannot afford to lose. I attended a number of healthcare town halls, and I'm sure many in this room did as well. Many times sitting quietly in the background just watching, but it was easy to see the frustration from many of the people at those town halls. Frustration that a government had raced forward with a bill that the majority of Americans, over 60%, didn't recognize as something that we wanted to do and move forward with. That said, we must bring healthcare costs under control. We understand that. And more Americans are going to get hurt if we don't, and I believe both parties have to be part of that solution. Also, I want to let it be clear, I'm 100% pro-life. We must protect life in this country, and I will continue to be a strong and steady voice for Allen County's right to life over the years. I've heard the argument before we should shelve the phrase, "Who's your values?" because of the events of the last week. I tell my boys, though, if you run a race and you fall down, you don't stop running. And I argue that who's your values now are more important than any time in politics. Since early Saturday, I've spent countless hours talking to a number of people, including dozens and dozens of precinct committeemen. They will be the ones that decide this election. Over 500 of them, a unique situation. I'm extremely encouraged not only by the commitments I've received, but a lot of the feedback I've received as well. No one will work harder in this campaign. One party chair called my announcement the other day. He said it was a potential game changer. And what he asked me to do was be a new, fresh face in Washington and bring new ideas, not only to the 3rd District, but to Washington as well. One woman stood out, though, out of the number of emails that I received, and she said, who else at this late stage could say they know the issues and have met as many voters and help them with their problems? This is a woman I've never met before, but it's a trust that we've built up. We have a problem now in this district. If we elect the right person, we can not only unite, but be stronger as well. I firmly believe I bring the party the best chance to move forward and win in November, and we will do that with trust. And it's not trust that I've worked 4 days to work on. It's a trust that I've spent my entire life working on. So thank you all for coming. I'm more than welcome, or more than happy to take any questions.